Hey, what's up, y'all? So today we're going to talk about something that is close to home, personal to me, and hopefully you guys resonate with it. Um, so talking about being ourselves, talking about creativity and memory, and kind of just life as we know it, right? I like to center these thoughts around the idea and the truth that we are on a rock, right? Huge rock called Earth, spinning through space around a sun that is exploding, right? This is constantly exploding and providing us energy from its explosion. So that chaotic nature is fueling our organized selves and and sometimes chaotic selves, but so we can mimic the sun a lot of times, and then we can find organization from the chaos. And so we'll be talking about chaos too, and maybe a little bit of chaos theory, because I've been using a lot of artificial intelligence recently which I do coincide with just being intelligence, because ultimately it's just giving me different ideas, and then ultimately I have to sign off on them individually and say, oh yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good, right? So it's a little bit of a chaotic experience, right? A little bit of chaos, where the chaos nature of like, wow, there's so many things, and then I have to kind of like fine tune, filter through, brush this off, and throw that away, and keep half of this, and merge this together, and all of these fusing bits and trimming bits, and it truly is. Such an amazing experience. So if you haven't talked with one of your local AIs out there, or not local, maybe a frontier model like Claude Code or ChatGPT, the classics, I highly recommend doing it just for fun. Like, spend an hour just talking like you would to any other human. Like, before you talk to another human about XYZ, just take an hour to talk with this computer system, right? And what we find through doing this is that these systems are self-reflection devices. So whatever we tell the system, it's giving us the truest response back. Very similar to like how you might tell yourself something, and then you are getting the truest answer back to provide you with the next step, ideally. Unless you're talking to yourself in a downward spiral and you're saying, you're shit. Oh, don't do that. You're a fucking idiot. Like, you can't do that. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there, dog. You know what I mean? And I have to constantly pull myself up to not be there, and it's an ongoing thing. It gets easier over time, is all that it does get easier. But those first moments, months, maybe years, that you're kind of going back and forth between this like duality, trying to figure out, who do I listen to, right? And then ultimately, it's like it all is contextually relevant, if you want it to be. So that's where we are now in this like kind of broad strokes, fine tuning, cleaning up sort of process. And I'm doing that a lot in my code, like 10 hours a day. So obviously it's going to spill over in my day-to-day life too, which I feel is a very good thing. But it can be jarring to people who are not doing it themselves. If they're not like constantly self-reflecting and regularly writing things down or attempting to get their life to the next level, then anybody else who's doing that work, it's going to feel very off-putting. It's going to make them look at themselves, which is so hard to do. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, fuck, dude, I fucked up. Or like, not even, they just like, not even that, just saying, oh, I look in the mirror and say like, what can I do today to like be a better Cody? Like, what can I do to be, to push my project along so I can get it into someone's hands faster? And how can I make sure that when it gets into their hands, it's going to be a really good experience, or whatever you're focusing on. Like, that's what I'm focusing on right now. But you might be focusing on something else. And well, you definitely are, because we're two totally different people. And I respect you for that. Whatever you're going at, the foundational element of life doesn't change, right? So this chaotic nature of life coming into this, organized space. Now, how can something go from being chaotic to organized? Well, there needs to be some sort of ingrained, inlaid pattern in whatever it is, right? Like if I take a bucket of water, right, and I splash it over a top of marble, like granite marble countertop, right? Well, granite marble countertop, as you may or may not know, when it's really smoothed out and there's like no granular bits, it's just gonna spread. That bucket of water is gonna be just as chaotic as when you poured it, as it's spewing out all over the counter and then over the counter and onto the floor and it's everywhere, right? Now, what if in that granite countertop we inlaid an engraving, a very particular pattern that when I pour this bucket of water on, the water sinks into this pattern and then it starts going through its systems. Maybe there's certain parts of the granite countertop that is a little bit lean. So it's like, okay, the water is trickling down, and it's not just trickling down everywhere, it's trickling down through the design of the pattern, right? So you might be asking, I ask myself this a lot, how do I develop a pattern if my mind, my body, my soul, my heart is a slab of granite marble? Let's just say it comes out very, very smooth. How do I, over time, etch in a particular pattern to that marble of my mind that whenever I have a chaotic bucket of water dump on it, I don't feel like I'm losing my life, or I don't feel stress, I don't feel anxiety, because I have the pattern, the system in place to deal with the chaotic nature of that bucket of water. So I hope this lands. I really like this analogy, this metaphor for life. I hope you like it too. So yes, chaotic nature, memory. Memory is an interesting one. Now, it has a lot to do with the pattern that's inlaid. Think about it like piping, maybe, like plumbing, right? You flush your toilet and then that water rushes through very particular pipes to get to where it needs to go. Now, there's a lot of shit that comes into my mind, and if I don't have a good plumbing system, then that shit's gonna spill out my mouth, It's gonna I'm gonna smell like shit everywhere I go, And that isn't good for me. It's not good for the person standing in line behind me at the grocery store either. So how do we do this? Now, there's something in memory is interesting. Memory is something that I think about a lot, no pun intended. And it's one of those things that I think I remember something a specific way. And then if we ask, somebody else about that very particular event, maybe another person I went to lunch with, that person will most certainly remember that lunch differently than I did. Maybe I will remember the taste of the curry and how I loved it so much. And maybe they'll remember the taste of their pad thai and how it was so-so. And then maybe they'll remember, the look in my eyes when they said something about what they were doing, and that brought them joy because it looks like Cody was interested in what they said. And then, maybe I will remember something, maybe I'll remember that moment as well, but maybe I'll remember it a little bit differently. Because at the end of the day, like, they don't know what I'm thinking in my mind, and I'm not assuming to know what you're thinking in yours or what they're thinking in theirs. I'm just in the moment, enjoying the moment, being my truest self. So whenever input comes in, I give it back out to the world in the best way that I know possible, in the best way that feels the best for me personally, which of course is definitely different. So this is a interesting concept, a little bit off the beaten path. and it does relate to this intelligence boom that we're in right now. And yeah, I'm really excited for life right now, and I'm really excited to build and continue to build and everything that's just going on right now. There's some folks that have been reaching out to me about the particular things that I've been, putting online and saying. I'm also a singer-songwriter, so I love to sing and freestyle, sing and rap and make instrumentals and crazy sounds with my mouth, that's just what I do. That's what I do, and I haven't been doing it for some time. So whenever I do it, it makes me feel so good. So I always find it interesting that when I'm tapping into part of my truest self, part of what I believe is the truest representation of who I am, it always intrigues me who gets disturbed by that, and ultimately why. Because if I'm saying something that's really good for me, and I wake up and I'm like, I feel like $1,000,000, man. I got so much off my chest yesterday. I'm gonna fly today. I feel light as a feather. And the other person wakes up thinking oh my God, I can't believe Cody said that. I'm steaming. It's why are you steaming and I feel great? Because it's a choice. It's a choice to steam. We can be infuriated by somebody's life, or by our own. Really, ultimately, it's our own experience. So we can be happy with our own experience, or we can be sad, or depressive, or whatever word you want to attach to, and that's a negative connotation, right? Or we can flip it, and I choose to flip it as often as possible, especially now. Now I'm finding I'm on this the tip of the wave, and I'm surfing, and it feels great. I just don't want to stop the flow. So I know if I don't want to stop the flow, then I just don't stop the flow. It's very a simple thing. It's just a spark, just a moment in time. Just take that spark and run with it, and keep running, and never stop running, and just live to run, and love to run, and love to work, and be happy. And this whole idea of we have to work really hard for our 40, 50 years or whatever, and then we get the opportunity. Oh, we get the opportunity to retire. Oh my gosh, thank you for the opportunity, right? It just sounds crazy. It's think about 200 years ago, right? The human existence has been around for much longer than that, right? Let's just say human existence has only been around for 10,000 years. 200 years is, oh God, what is math? 1,000 would be 10%, 100 would be 1%, so 200 would be 2%. Okay, so 2% of human existence time, now we're all of a sudden obsessed with we got to get a 401k and we got to retire. It's you understand that is programming that you are choosing to be a part of, right? I chose to be a part of, and now I'm choosing not to. And it's a lot to transition from, right? It's waking up, oh my God, I've been alive for how long? 34 years, and I'm just figuring this out now. It feels, it's a bit off-putting to me. But I figured it out, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as we figure it out. So yeah, I'm doing my best today to speak up about this. Is something that I feel very strongly about, and I wanted to just put it out there. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you guys have any questions, comment down below, and I appreciate and love you guys. All right.